Thanks for joining us. As you may know, the holiday season in the greater Windham County area means one thing, and that is Project Feed the Thousands, the area's longest-running food drive. Project Feed co-chair Kelly Corbeil is with us, along with George Haynes, one of the co-founders, Mark Speedo from Green Street School, Christine Colasone from Groundworks Collaborative and their FoodWorks division, and Lisa Pitcher from Our Place in Bellows Falls. Thank you all for joining us. This is a weird year. What does that mean in terms of Project Feed? Kelly?
Yes. Well, it is a little bit of a strange year for Project Feed because certain things that we normally would do, we haven't been able to. So we usually do like this huge business blitz and get in front of all kinds of businesses, and a lot of them put food bins out and cash buckets, and but because of COVID, we haven't been able to do that. So it's more of a virtual year this year. So we're really pushing a lot more for cash donations because we don't have those food bins out everywhere like we normally do. So yeah, it's strange. It's a strange year. Schools aren't completely open, and Mark will talk to that. But so it's just a strange year. But I think everybody's really working hard to still hit our goals like we always do. And I'm thinking it's going to be successful because our community usually pulls together, and cross our fingers that happens this year too.
George, when Project Feed first started off, did either you or the other co-founder, Larry Smith, think this kind of year would have been possible?
Not in our wildest dreams. The way Project Feed is operated, this is our 27th campaign, as you know, and one of the things that has been so great about Project Feed the Thousands is community involvement and people being involved. And we know that they will be this year, but it's just not at the same level, as Kelly said. We in the past have had so much interaction with schools, with businesses on a personal level, even been visiting food shelves. And I know that the various food shelves will be able to speak to the fact that they're not even operating the same way that they've done in the past as well. So it's been a challenge all the way around. But I think, and I'll second what Kelly said, I think we can make our goals. It's going to be a little different approach. Even our approach right now, doing this is virtual, 5 people plus yourself, not being in the same room. It is different.
Thank goodness for technology. To restate those goals, what exactly are there, and where are the donations going? Kelly?
Yep. So the goal this year is $85,000 in cash and 250,000 meals. And those, what we do, I'm sure most people probably are already aware, but just in case, we take all of those, and we have 9 food shelves that we help with the food and the funds. And right now, the way to donate is to go to projectfeedthethousands.org, and you can make a donation there, or you can send a check to River Valley Credit Union. Or we also have a GoFundMe page this year. So you would just search Project Feed the Thousands. Make sure you say Project Feed the Thousands, not just Project Feed. And there's a GoFundMe page that we started as well.
I've got to ask, with this pandemic now being, 8 months plus long, what are some of the food shelves seeing? I want to ask both Christine and Lisa just what they're seeing on a regular basis, both in terms of need and how they deal with this in a way that ensures the health of both the clients and the food shelf staffs. Lisa?
Yeah, so when the pandemic started, we had to go to all to-go meals. So the need hasn't gone away, just the way we're operating has. So we're basically not allowing anybody in the building for the safety of our staff. We're lucky in a way that we have actually 2 large windows in the front of our building, which allows access. So basically our staff are handing out packaged to-go meals that they're preparing fresh every day in the kitchen, and they're packaging those and handing them out the window to people as they come and pick them up. And the same for food boxes. The staff is putting together basic food boxes and handing them out. People can ask for specific items to be added, or if there's something in there they don't want, they can just leave it on the table outside. So, and then we have our produce, which we've always distributed a lot of fresh produce. Instead of being on the shelves in our dining area for people to come in and take it, it's all outside under a tent. So that's the changes that we've had to make, and we're still serving a lot of people, up to 60 lunches 4 times a week. People are picking up.
So how has this affected FoodWorks, Christine, in the way that you're able to hand out donations to people in need or accept donations for the program?
Similar to Lisa, we also are not letting anyone inside our building, which is unfortunate because it was a grocery store-like experience, and people enjoyed choosing what food they want, social interaction. But now people call in for either a delivery or curbside pickup. And thankfully, because of just relationships that we've built with people over the years, as well as new ones with new people, we kind of get a sense after the first time or so that they get food, what kinds of food they like, and we ask those questions, what are your dietary needs? And so we try to personalize it as much as possible, but it's definitely missing that social element that people like. In March, we saw a huge increase, and in April, it kind of went away a little bit in the summer as more people had supports. And now we're starting to see cases of COVID, but also cases of food insecurity start to increase again. And it's just been busy, not quite of the levels in the spring, but getting close.
I want to bring Mark Speedo into this as well, because Mark, how has this affected both your students and staff? Because I know for a while your teachers were teaching remotely all week long. They're doing it part of the week. What does that do in terms of how students are being fed at school and who's feeding them when they're not in school?
Yeah, it's a good question, Tim. And we are working on our resilience, just like everybody in our community and the world right now. So right now, we have basically 3 school scenarios. We have students who are on a Monday, Tuesday in-person schedule, students who are on a Thursday, Friday schedule, and then complete remote school as well. Obviously, when kids are in school, we serve our meals in school. If you're a Monday, Tuesday family and you need meals for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you can come to the school on 2 designated days during the week to pick up meals for breakfast and lunch. So we're serving food just like we always have. In fact, I think we're serving more than usual.
Now, were you serving food for children who were not in school this spring, and are you doing some of that again this fall?
During the spring, we were traveling and serving food to basically anybody who could get there under the age of 18. And we're currently doing that right now as well. So for at Green Street, every Tuesday and Thursday at a designated time at 1:30 in the afternoon, we're kind of an open shop for families to come and pick up meals for the week.
So that would stand to reason that not only children, but their parents and also seniors might be having some of these same issues, and the need for service, the need for help would be up. Lisa and Christine, maybe you could respond to that and how you've seen numbers change this year.
Yeah, we are seeing more seniors come to pick up meals at our place. In fact, when we were serving in the dining room, we did have a regular group of seniors that ate with us most days, either breakfast or lunch or both. And now I think we've seen an uptick in the number of seniors coming to get lunch in particular. Some new people that live maybe in senior housing in Bellows Falls. So, and then we do once a month, we put together bags of groceries for seniors to be delivered to their homes, and that's increased from about 28 to closer to 38 now. So a few more people are being reached that way. And I think the word's getting out. More people are sharing information as best they can. So, and hopefully this will get the word out also that seniors can sign up for home deliveries for groceries, and anybody is welcome to come and get a meal at our place weekdays, except for Thursday when we're closed.
Christine?
Similarly to Lisa, we're also offering home delivery of groceries, and so we had a senior hours on Tuesday when we were open. We didn't really have that many seniors, and now I think with the delivery option, it's hard to say what it would be if there was no COVID and we're just regularly delivering food. But I think that we make deliveries every day of the week, of half pickups, half deliveries, and most of the deliveries are folks who have a disability or are elderly. So we've definitely seen that increase. But I'm glad that that option is available from multiple places for folks who don't want to risk going to a grocery store if they're at risk for COVID.
So we've seen the federal government in various programs, not just the programs we're describing here, step up. Some of that is likely to go away, at least for a time. What's going to happen? I mean, you've been in need more than ever, and now some of the other safety net falls away. What happens?
I can add something about that a little bit. I just want to, again, go back to what I said earlier, that it's quite surprising sometimes how people come and help when they know it's needed, which is what we're asking for right now. And sometimes or I might speak to myself, that my assumption is that somebody might not be able to do something just because of COVID, and that's not the case. And the reason I'm saying that is Mark Speedo is a good example of that. I just assumed no schools would participate in Project Feed this year. That was my assumption. It was weird. They weren't really in school. How are they going to participate? And so I pretty much talked to Mark and said, I'm sure you're not going to participate. And he immediately said, why would you say that? Of course we're going to participate. And so I just thought I might like Mark to talk a little bit about that, why I felt like it was really important, because that's one of those people that I'm saying, steps up and says, doesn't matter if it's COVID or not, it's still important. So,
Mark, you've always had a way of stepping up as long as I've known you. What makes this as important as anything else that the students have needed to step up for?
Well, it's needed more than ever. If you think about the situation we're in right now, and we always want to empower youth that they can make a difference in this world, no matter what age they are. And Project Feed has always been an example of kids doing that in their community. And it's been an opportunity for them to make a difference. And we're trying our best to do all the normal things we've always done. It's harder, but it's not a reason to not try and do it.
So what happens when people do not get the food they need, whether they're young or old? What does that do to them? What does that do to community? Because after all, we are talking in a way about building a much stronger community. George?
Well, I think, people without food and that are hungry, it's going to affect them in all kinds of ways. They're not going to be able to, if they're working, do the jobs that they can do at the level that they usually do them. The same is true for students. And that's been the big challenge this year. As you mentioned, there's various government programs that have supplemented food and made more food available. The offshoot of that is as the government programs dwindle, the need will increase, the demand will increase, and that's the big challenge this year. That's why, in addition to trying to raise food as we usually do, it is somewhat limited because we've limited our food collection primarily to grocery stores where people shop and where people drop. So we always say, whenever you go shopping, please pick up a non-perishable food item and drop it in the bin. But the offshoot of that, and that'll help as well, is cash donations. Cash donations are a real challenge this year because more people are affected by COVID, whether it be employment-wise or otherwise. So in some ways, we're hoping as many people can contribute as last year. The offshoot of that is as many people can contribute as last year, which I hope is the case. But if not, maybe more the people that do contribute can contribute more. If you understand what I'm saying, it's all about trying to raise those dollars because the food shelves are going to be in need of that money so that they can purchase food as the campaign ends and next year starts and the demand increases. We know it's going to be a real challenge.
So yeah, that's right. Food will last a bit. Mm-hmm. The money to purchase food will last longer.
Exactly.
And how cooperative has, for instance, the Vermont Food Bank been as a partner to Project Feed and to all of your food shelves over the years?
The Vermont Food Bank has been great during this whole season. I mean, they're always a good partner, and we have a particularly good crew in Brattleboro. They're really hardworking people, and they're part of the community, and they're part of the food shelf community, and they provide great support. It's been good, as you mentioned, the government programs. There's been more money out there for food banks, for other programs like the Farmers to Families program, which is direct distribution. All of this money has really made the food bank's job easier because they can purchase more staple items and have them in stock on a more regular basis. And then they can get them out to the partners more efficiently. Excuse me. So, I mean, the food bank's been a great partner. There is a concern, and I know Christine has talked about this, about when the programs end at the end of the year. So Everyone Eats is going to end, and Farmers to Families is going to end, and probably the influx of cash to the food banks around the country, including ours, is going to end. We don't know what's going to happen. I think Christine said that, we're hoping for the best and planning for the worst, and that's kind of where we are. But we have a strong system in our area, and we can be proud of that. We'll just do the best we can, and hopefully we can get enough food to people.
I mean, the inventiveness of this area has been just tremendous. I mean, Everyone Eats was a trendsetter. And of course, the work of Project Feed was probably the first in Vermont to be able to come up with a sustainable yearly drive. And everything is built up. Is the infrastructure still there? I mean, infrastructure, of course, now means people, means volunteers, and it also means cash. How strong are we?
I think we're very strong. I think our community is very strong, very resilient, and I know we'll get through this. Back to the Vermont Food Bank, they've also been an amazing partner with local schools. They deliver food to us every month that we're able to give to our families outside of the regular program. Excuse me, the regular food program.
And I noticed that they also do a backpack program for the weekend for kids in need.
Yes. Yep. Every month they deliver food for kids to take home, in addition to adding food to our own food banks for our communities. So amazing partner.
They really are. Kelly, George, how resilient is this group of volunteers that we are now midway through the second generation, stringing it together, always coming up with what the community needs? What do we need this year in terms of stepping up that much more?
Well, one thing I can say is one thing that we have with Project Feed that's fabulous is we have great community support. So the local newspapers support us, all the radio stations do, all the media does, and a lot of businesses do. They do fundraisers for it. They step up when it's needed. All the grocery stores participate. So it's a strong program, and even virtually it's been tough, but we've been making phone calls to people instead of getting in front of them. And I don't think we've heard a single person say, turn us down or say no in any way. So again, it's a great program. It's strong, but it's concerning because there is a lot of businesses that struggled this year, and we know that they won't be able to support like they did in the past. And that's a concern. So like George said, we're hoping that the ones that, maybe did have a decent year anyway can step up, or individuals that, have a little extra, maybe that could give a little more, because there is going to be a dip for sure because of how COVID has affected a lot of people.
I think, Tim, that the network is strong, as Kelly said. It's 27 years now, and as you mentioned, generations of children of parents that were first involved with Project Feed are now involved. But the network is strong, and I think in some ways, even though COVID has placed huge demands not only on people in need, but different ways to fundraise, the very fact is that doing things virtually and doing some of the things we're doing in some ways may reach more people than we've reached in the past. And we hope that's true. And I think that the overall spirit of this area, the communities involved, are very resilient, and people that amaze you and continue to amaze us as years have gone by, how they've stepped up at different times during various campaigns. We thought we weren't going to make goals, and then we make them and surpass them. So I think the early returns this year, as Kelly said, we're off to a good start. People are responding. I think people are aware. The fact that hunger has always been a problem has been an issue. But this year, I think more of the population realizes that hunger is a problem because of COVID.
So how can people help make a difference? So where can people make a food contribution, and where can they make a monetary donation?
Yeah, so all of the area grocery stores have food bins out. So any of the grocery stores that you go to, like George has mentioned, if you could purchase a non-perishable food item and drop it in the box, it would be greatly appreciated. But the cash donations are really easy, which is just go to projectfeedthethousands.org and you can make a donation there, or you can just Google GoFundMe and then search for Project Feed the Thousands, and that's another option. Or you can send in a check to care of River Valley Credit Union. So those are the easy ways to do it.
And the nice thing is that you can specify which of the programs you want your donation to go to.
Yes, that's true. So if you happen to be a Guilford resident, you could choose the Guilford Pantry if you so choose. Or if you're in the Bellows Falls area, you might choose our place. So just make sure you make your designation if you would like to have a designation. And yep, that's great.
This is just incredible. And the nice thing that I know Mark sees on a daily basis is we are raising awareness to the next generation about the problem of hunger and what we can do about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how we grow as a community together, is to learn and tackle issues and teach kids they have a voice.
Now, I'm curious, with programs like FoodWorks and with Our Place, are there any other parts of the program that not only help provide food, but also work on finding ways of raising incomes or helping people to improve the situation?
So FoodWorks, although it's part of Groundworks Collaborative that does a lot of housing work, any funds that go to Project Feed would go just to our food budget. And so we primarily we give people food as well as feeding the people who are staying in hotels as well as people who are housed. But the thing about food is that it's the one thing that people kind of have a choice on at the end of the month, and they have all of these bills. You can't say, well, I can pay this amount of my electricity bill if you have to pay it. But food is something that people are food insecure because they have all these other expenses, and really poverty is the root cause. And so by helping someone get enough food, you're making sure that people have the ability to pay their rent and to pay their utilities and the other things that they can't really, they don't really have much choice with.
Lisa?
So yes, I mean, we're not able to have as much hands-on work with people as we used to. When people were coming and eating in our dining room, they frequently would ask us for other kinds of assistance, filling out applications for benefits, filling out applications for jobs. When the pandemic hit, we were helping people apply for unemployment. So now the things that we're able to do to help maybe people get out of the hole that they're in because of COVID is providing gas cards if people need to get to job interviews or doctor's appointments or things like that. So transportation is another expense that people have. So we provide gas cards. We do provide some other kinds of supports. It's just not as much as we were able to do before, but people are still calling us and asking us, can you help with this? Can you be an intermediary? Can you just, provide some advocacy? And I know at Groundworks, they do that day in and day out. So just helping people get what they need is a full-time job when people are just not making it with the incomes that they can earn.
And finally, why are all of you involved, other than the fact that you're involved in programs that indirectly are supported by Project Feed? For instance, Mark, what got you involved?
I was just inspired by the program. And when I first became a principal, I realized I had the power to be a part of it and to bring kids into the picture as well. And it started in Vernon, and it turned into a pretty big tradition there. And it's grown into really all the schools participate. And it's really great to see kids active in their community.
Well, I'd like to thank you all personally, and I'm kind of proud that good things started in Vernon for obvious reasons. But George Haynes, Kelly Corbeil, Mark Speedo, Christine Colasone, and Lisa Pitcher, thank you so much. Make a contribution today to Project Feed. That's Project Feed the Thousands in care of River Valley Credit Union. Also, go online. What's that web address again, Kelly?
ProjectFeedTheThousands.org.
Or you can also find it on GoFundMe. Thank you all. This is Tim Johnson. Happy holidays to you, and please support Project Feed. Bye-bye.